Welcome to the Respectful Divorce Podcast. If you're considering a divorce, it's important to know that you have options for how you divorce. On the Respectful Divorce Podcast, we explore those options and provide advice from divorce professionals. I'm your host, Tim Crouch, and joining us today is collaborative divorce attorney Robin Zegen from the Zegen Law Firm in Dallas, Texas. Robin, thanks for being with us today.
Well, thank you for having me.
So, how did you end up in family law? You can choose all kinds of different places to go coming out of law school. Why family law?
Well, so initially, I actually went to work for a firm that did civil rights litigation. But one of the partners did family law. And, as you walked past the different offices, you could hear the conversations, and his were always more interesting. So, you kind of got interested, and you were always hearing the latest story about what somebody did or should have done or whatever. And so it kind of intrigued me, but I only got to work a little bit on his cases. Later on, whenever I was in private practice for myself, I had a friend getting a divorce and I decided to help her. And so going through that process, I learned a lot about family law that you don't just intuitively know. And more so, I would say that the facts side of it more than the legal side of it. The legal side of it, I understood. But whenever I went through my own divorce, I got a real eye-opener on how we handled family law. And it was embarrassing. It was way too public. And it was just my feeling in the end that families don't belong in court. They just don't. So I thought, well, I can't keep them out of court, but I'm going to try to help them settle. I'm going to try to help people get through this process the best I can. But when I heard about collaborative, I fell in love with the whole idea. I thought this is really, really what people need. They need a better way that isn't so damaging.
And part of that with collaborative is there's not only do you stay out of court, there's a commitment that you're going to stay out of court.
That's right. And I think, that's important because it keeps people from posturing. It's not take my offer or I'm going to go to court. It's here's what I would like. Here's why I'd like it. And that's just a whole different way of working with people. And I think you find whenever you use that type of approach to any problem solving, you get better responses. So it automatically takes it down about 5 notches just to be able to take it from that kind of an approach. There's other things we do too to try to keep it really respectful, dignified, and intelligent way to get divorced.
And I guess part of that is also that you don't have a judge telling you how it's going to be. The clients own the decision, right?
That's true. And that's really important because, people think they're going to get their day in court. What they don't realize is a day in court's only a few hours. By the time you go through everything, it's really only a few hours you get to tell your side. And that's all the information the judge is going to get, and they're going to make a decision. And since that judge has to make a decision about your family and barely knows them, they're going to do some of the same things over and over and over because it's safe. And so you're expecting something that fits your family, you're not going to get it. You're just going to get something that's safe. And so people come out of court, and the thing that they tell me after we go through trial is they don't feel like they really got heard. I'm not sure that they heard my story. I'm not sure that they understand my family. They don't understand that's not going to work for me. It doesn't matter. That's what you get when you go to court.
Yeah, and I've heard it said that the judges really aren't all that interested in all the he said, she said kind of thing. It's just pretty straightforward what they're interested in hearing.
That's true. And it's whenever I say that the court system's a damaging place for families and family law, it's damaging really for everyone. Judges, when they first come on the bench, I think are a little bit more willing to listen and hear. But after they've heard it thousands of times, 5 days a week, it just becomes routine. They get hardened, they build up a harder shell around them. And they do that to protect themselves because it's damaging to get emotional about everybody's divorce. And yeah, the attorneys do that. The witnesses that we use frequently, the experts that we use frequently, it's damaging to everybody. You see higher rates of turnover in family law. You see judges that become extremely harsh by the time they're getting off the bench. It changes everybody who's attached to it. So I think that's why you're going to see a lot more people trying to find ways to do this better.
Yeah, and so the collaborative divorce process is better in what way?
Well, I think in a lot of ways. I think you absolutely get heard, and I think that's important. A lot of people need closure as well, and courts aren't set up for closure. I mean, they'll give you some orders to go down the road, but they're not going to try to close off this relationship and help you kind of end it. They're not the least bit interested in the emotional parts of it. But in collaborative, we're able to do that. And we have a mental health professional that is involved in many ways besides just running the meeting. And they can help you with some of those things to help give you that closure and give you that good start, a new restart to life. And I think they do an excellent job with that. And that has been needed for a long time for families. But I also think that we help families, especially if they have extended relationships. Either their families have other relationships involved, they have children that are eventually going to get married, have children, graduate, things that they're going to want both their parents there for. But some of these people have been high school sweethearts, and their families are very intertwined, or they have many of the same friends. And it's going to be really, really hard for them to go through a really destructive process and then have to bump into each other frequently. But collaborative makes it to where we're doing this together and we're agreeing on things together, and they're learning the whys behind each person's motivations. And I think that sets them up for a lot more success after the process.
And the mental health professional that you're talking about is neutral. They're not on one side or the other. And there's another neutral, which is a financial professional that brings some additional kind of expertise into the case, right?
That's correct. So normally in a divorce case, both sides gather all of the financial information. And if we're having trouble valuing something, we each hire experts. So there's lots of duplication in the process. And so you're paying an attorney to get all the information together. You're paying an expert to present it all in court. And it just gets very expensive. But in this process, we have the one financial expert, and that expert collects all the data from them, runs all the reports. And additionally, they can help them set up a budget afterwards. So we don't just stop at, okay, you're divorced and here's your plan. It gives you enough to know exactly how you're going to do the rest of your life and try to get going. And because a lot of times we're talking about people changing jobs, where they live. Everything changes with divorce. So they can help with a lot of that.
And these neutral professionals bring such special skills into the case, skills that attorneys can try to do, but they're not trained in the same way, right?
Well, that's true. I happen to have a financial background, but lots of attorneys don't. And I don't have all the latest software on running projections and all these cool things. Whenever I got my finance degree, we didn't have computers. So, we had word processors, but we didn't have computers. So, yeah, I think it's nice to have somebody who has all these fantastic ever-evolving programs that can run lots of scenarios for them and make the decision-making so much easier for them.
So we're doing this podcast ahead of Divorce with Respect Week, which is coming up March 1st through 8th. And during Divorce with Respect Week, people can talk to you or other divorce professionals for free to learn more about the divorce process. In a consultation with you, what can someone expect to learn?
So I think they can get an overview of some of the various options that are available out there. Maybe they have some questions that are fact specific to their situation and they're really curious about those things. We can help give them some information on that. We can help them with some ideas on what cost might look like. And a lot of those kinds of things will give them some peace in deciding which way they're going to go.
All right. And should they do anything to prepare for that or just come with their questions?
I always tell them, go ahead and write down your questions because a lot of times when we get into talking to them, they forget. They had something that they really wanted to ask and they forget. And so I always tell them, that's really about the only preparation they need. This isn't a situation where in 30 minutes I can tell you who's going to get what and how the kids are going to go back and forth between the houses and things like that, because there's a lot more we need to know to give you those kinds of answers. But I can give an overview of how the processes work so that you can see how it would fit for you.
Robin Zegen, thank you for being with us on the Respectful Divorce podcast today.
Thank you for having me. I enjoyed it.
If someone would like to reach out to you, learn a little more about you, what's the best way to do that?
So they can give me a call, and my phone number is 972-653-0448. They can also go to my website, and my website is thedallasdivorceattorney.com.
All right, we will put all of that information in the show notes. Thank you for watching the Respectful Divorce podcast. This reminder that Divorce with Respect Week is March 1st through 8th. You can talk with divorce professionals, including attorneys, financial professionals, and divorce coaches for free simply by going to divorcewithrespectweek.com to find a professional near you. Divorce with Respect Week, March 1st through 8th, and that website, www.divorcewithrespectweek.com. I'm Tim Crouch for the Respectful Divorce podcast, reminding you that collaborative divorce is a better way to untie the knot.